Let's welcome in Georgia Congressman Rich McCormick. Congressman, I just want to get your reaction to the Biden we saw last night during his first solo news conference in 8 months. Did he do enough to quiet the calls for him to drop out of the race?
I think he did just the opposite. I mean, in 24 hours, he called Zelensky Putin. He called Harris Trump. He got Asia and Europe confused. He got Russia and China confused. He basically got the commander-in-chief confused, and that's him. He's got a lot of problems, and people can see it right up front. The thing that concerns me is if they replace him, if we start all over again, and then we have to go into new polling and not focus once again on the most important thing, which are the topics at hand: the border, crime, debt, energy, education, all the things that really matter to people that we're on the right side of history on. And that's what I hope we really focus on.
Congressman, I'm so glad you brought that up, and I sort of feel the same way. So fine, Joe Biden had this epically bad debate, but it's almost like, do we stop talking about it so Democrats keep Biden on the ticket? Because let's be honest, we want Trump to run this race against Joe Biden. My fear is, personally, that if the Democrats decide to replace Joe Biden with somebody like Kamala Harris, there's not enough time to get the truth about Kamala and her record and her plans to the American people. Right now, we're 115 days from the election, and the media, Congressman, is clamoring for a new candidate. And there will be this unreal groundswell of support for whoever the Democrats choose, if it's Kamala. And I think that honeymoon could last right up through November the 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at what's going on in the markets, the stock markets have set several records in the last month. If you look at interest rates, are going to come down probably in September. Not enough to really affect the market, but you're going to have still low unemployment rate. He, quote unquote, did something about the border. I'm worried about us losing focus on what really matters. And even though I don't think Kamala polls particularly well, we do have to worry about the issues. We got to get back to the issues. I know that since 2004, the person who is the most popular, the most likable, has won every election since 2000, the last 20 years. But if we don't get back to the basics, what Reagan was so good at selling, even though he's a likable guy, he sold a product that was so good and what we really represent. And if we focus on those things, we will win big, because we are on the right side of history. But if we focus on personalities and we start getting caught up into really a popularity contest, we could be in trouble, because we know the media works against us constantly on those topics.
So he was asked yesterday during that news conference if polling data shows that Kamala is doing better than him when pitted against Trump, would he consider dropping out? Here's what he had to say.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me.
Okay. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, if you realize that since about a year ago, he's shown that he is one of the poorest candidates they could possibly have. So it's kind of an old point, because he's never really been popular in his party. But last year, we've seen the cognitive decline for a long time. He has not done a good job as a president, not in foreign or domestic policies. He's failed time and time again, no matter how you spin it. If you look at his epic failures in the way he set up Israel to fail, and the way he set up Ukraine to fail, and the way he set up Taiwan to fail, and the way he's set up Afghanistan to absolutely fail in the worst possible way. This guy is a failure in foreign policy, yet he tries to spin it as if he's some sort of expert. Look at what Trump did with Israel, with the Abraham Accords, how he went after Qasem Soleimani and other folks, and how he kept North Korea in check. The comparison is amazing, actually, and I thought Trump would actually have a problem with foreign policy because he didn't have very much experience. He knocked it out of the park. I was really impressed. Yeah. And once again, coming back to those topics, we do well in. But Joe Biden's been in trouble and underwater in polling for a long time as far as his party and his candidacy goes.
Congressman, I know that you're also a doctor, and we have about 30 seconds. What do you make of what you're seeing from Joe Biden, what you saw from him last night during the press conference, and of course what you saw 15 days ago on that debate stage?
Not all old people have the same problem, but he has definite dementia or Parkinson's. I think it's Lewy body, but it doesn't really matter. We know the cognitive decline is there. He will not last another 4 years. And actually, quite frankly, he's not qualified to lead this nation right now. That's my medical professional opinion. I think it's obvious to the entire American public, and I think they're judging him for it.